Hey, this is Arsenet from Rambling Rican. Apologize in advance if the air conditioner kicks on. It's really hot. Welcome to July in the Northeast. So, either way, before I get started, just to make sure, the tournament aired already about 2 weeks ago, so as far as I'm concerned, I can talk about it now since I've been waiting 2 months. I'm not going to rehash what I said on the previous vlog, and I'll link that for anybody that was interested in that. But as you know, I'll do just a courtesy spoiler warning, anything I'm going to be talking about or even answering questions. I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, I'm not going to filter myself. I've waited 2 months to talk about this tournament in general. So from this point on, any single time I'll be talking, it's going to be spoilered. So if anybody's worried about that, you know, go and try to find a copy of it and then come back and listen if you want to. This is just a general, basically all-purpose vlog. First of all, thank you for the tremendous response to my last vlog. I wasn't sure how it was going to be received, because y'all know when I ramble, I ramble. Yes, I know that joke just never goes away. For the record, it took about 30 seconds to come up with that name, and y'all know me by now. I lived up to that name quite a bit. So I wanted to at least change a little bit of gears. I'm not going to be rehashing what I said the last time. I'll do a link so people who are interested in what the heck I'm talking about, especially with the enormous amount of responses. Thank you so much. I'll mention again that I don't have Google Plus and I refuse to convert, and as much as they say that they got rid of the Google Plus interaction, I can post videos, I can even post some comments on a chat. I can't respond to comments. It automatically says you have to have a Google account. It's extremely frustrating, but I'm gonna hold out. I know at some point that they're gonna finally get rid of it, but I'm not changing to Google Plus right now, so I will just basically respond in this kind. And if you guys want a direct answer, you know where to find me. I'm on Twitter, on SMF. I'll probably just do mostly Twitter these days because that's attached to my phone and I have my phone everywhere. So anyway, just to give you an update, I'm not doing Blogger Hell this year. I mentioned before in a couple different places, most people know before I even went to Japan this year, I made a decision that I was going to retire. And what that technically means is that I'm not going anywhere, first and foremost. What I'm going to stop doing is doing a lot of basically the information gathering that I usually did. For anybody that's on SMF that has noticed the amount of information that's now out, I lost count how many spin-offs there have been. I mean, just in the past 2 weeks alone, I think 4 of them were either announced or airing. It's like, I'm not doing that anymore. And then from my previous rant, my previous video, I'm not happy with the direction that Sasuke's going. And reading further articles, just cementing that they are definitely going in the A&W direction, because they now have dubbed A&W to be the global standard. I'm not happy about that, and nothing's gonna change that. So as opposed to me freaking out and going nuts and whatever, it's really interesting because I made a decision to quote-unquote leave before the tournament even started, and I was gonna basically take the opportunity of hey, Nagano's retiring, so I'm gonna retire too. I got yelled at by Nagano for doing that. And I had a long conversation with him about it in Sasuke, and he's like, look, you do what you need to do and whatever, but don't take my opportunity to, basically don't stick it all on me. We sat down and talked about that for quite a bit. I talked to the All-Stars, I was Shingo a little bit. I talked to Shingo mostly last year. Is specific to the subject, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of shifted in that direction. For the record, he's not retiring. He's gonna be here until the end of time. For as long as Sasuke endures, he will be around, should he be invited. Everybody knows that he's gonna be invited, and they're not gonna break that streak. And he wants to appear, and so great. So he'll basically be either the only All-Star. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with Takada. I think I mentioned that before. I'm not sure where, but Takada is hoping to be able to come back because he wants to hang with Shingo. He knows Nagano's not going to be around, but that's not up to him. That's up to production if they want him back. He's going to basically, ask for that invitation again. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody in production as to what's going to actually happen, but that's his desire. Him and his wife have confided in me to, because I asked him point blank, you know me. I have like no filter. It's like, dude, you coming back? And he's like, I want to come back. I don't know if they'll let me, but you know, we'll see. We're just going to go with that. But, you know, if Shingo's coming back, I want to come back. So I'm like, okay. So, you know, if he comes back, great. You know, if he doesn't, great. Either's done. I don't think that they would, like, not give him an invite, but, you know, I'm not in charge of that, and I really don't care. But I talked to them a bit about the subject. It was funny because Nagano, this is the first time really they actually had a sit-down conversation with him, specifically about the subject of basically what's going on in Sasuke now. It was interesting because he was talking about how much the show has changed. Shingo said that like point blank last year. Shingo does not have a filter, and whatever is on his mind will come out of his mouth probably faster than he can control it. So in a lot of ways, we share a lot of things alike. He's very blunt about it, and you know, whether people agree with him or not, I mean, if anybody has any kind of authority, he's been around literally from the beginning and has brought the show back from cancellation twice. So he has a bit of authority on that subject. And, you know, he's not happy with how even some like obstacles are created, that sort of thing. It's sort of like, he likes more similar to me, where anybody that comes off the street should be able to clear the course. In the sense that he doesn't like a lot of the specialized obstacles, but that's an entirely long conversation. And so the whole shift, like even the television shift, we didn't see while we were at the tournament. Like I mentioned before, I had fun at the tournament and I was fine. I'm not gonna complain about results because hello, those are results, and like who the heck complains about those? I mean, and people, you know, quibble about obstacles, and I would prefer that there wasn't a cliffhanger there at all, but you know, I'm not going to argue about stuff like that, especially when budgets are concerned. So they did the best that they could, and they had just a really rough situation having to deal with the weather and production and money, and I wasn't going to complain about that. My biggest concern was what was on TV, and the TV thing is a deliberate thing. That is to shift focus. You know, the All-Star era is now gone, and we're starting basically all over again. It's a new tournament, it's a new winner, blah 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 blah, and I just don't like the direction, and not in a day. In fact, talked to a couple of vets as well, and they see it the same way. In fact, a lot of them were there for Nagano, sort of like in solidarity, but I don't think they're, at least some of them that I was talking to, I don't think they're coming back. So, and I don't think that's the direction that the production wants either. I don't know. Obviously, since I'm on the opposite side of the camp, I don't have a lot of feedback up to currently what's going on. That was also by choice from me. They were not happy when I mentioned I was retiring. But at the same time, I kind of like it that way, and I want it that way. That way, I'm not influenced by all the politicking that's going on in the background. That politicking will always continue. Every television show in the world has that, and heck, every sport has that. So I've done this already for 8 years. I don't want to continue anymore. I've gotten to the point, even before the tournament happened, that I was tired. The rift between A&W fans and Sasuke fans have now hit a fever pitch. It's really bad now. And a lot of us Sasuke-focused people are getting hit really hard by the A&W people. Basically step aside and, you know, give us the floor, which I don't appreciate. And in a lot of ways, I'm just gonna do that. Just like fine, have it, enjoy it. I really don't care anymore. You know, you get to a point that you start fighting all these battles, and even when you have, you know, we've always had the, hey, you know, at least for us in our minds, you know, Sasuke's superior, it has this, that, and that. I can't even say that anymore. It's sort of like, when you don't see what was actually there translated on screen, it gets very, very frustrating. And then when you know why that's happening, or even perceive to know why it's happening, it gets very difficult and very frustrating. And then after a while, it's sort of like, this is a hobby. This is something that you're supposed to do because you have fun. And I spent, oh god, I think the first week after Sasuke, I was just in a rage. Well, y'all already saw the video. And after that, I got sick. Over the weekend, I've been very sick. And it's sort of like, alright, just, okay, do what you were planning to do. And then so I started writing the blog. And then the ranting started. Just even on Navi, the first 20 minutes were literally pointless. It was all rehashes from Sasuke 31. And then I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. In fact, what I'm going to be doing is the last spoilerific blog that's going to be on Rambling Rican is the one that's already there now, the Sasuke 31. It was a fabulous tournament, both live and on television. Sure, I had some couple quibbles here and there on, more than a couple quibbles on the first stage, but that's unfortunately part of the Rising era, and that's a dead horse I keep beating. I'm just not even gonna bother anymore. This year was the worst with it, but you know. But either way, it still ended up on a great note. It was well edited at the after the second stage, so people were able to enjoy, you know, the second, third, and fourth stages. The pacing was great. The results were actually also great to go with along with the editing. So that, to this day, still is my #1 tournament of all time. Yeah, that's biased because I was there, so I have the added effect. That's why we got bumped to #1. But yeah, I was perfectly fine with that, and yes, there was ranting, but very, very minimal. I had very little things to complain about, so that's gonna be the only thing that's on there. I'm not doing 32. I don't want my last major tournament blog to be just this absolute dripping. No, I mean, because the bigger problem that I have with 32 is how it's presented on television. It is not a reflection of the tournament itself. I had a great time. So I want to be able to post my experience with it. And thanks to you guys allowing me to go there to see that in person, I am so happy I was there, because outside of the fact that I wasn't expecting to go after just the chaos of the fundraiser, that turned out to be really important that I was there, at least from my perspective, be able to explain how good that tournament was. And yes, even with the chaos and the weather and whatever, but there were a lot of fun stories that I want everybody to see in a positive light. Even if it doesn't show up on TV, at least as basically my retirement, that's what I want to focus on. So I'll be shifting focus to writing the book, but more importantly, in place of doing the blogs that I normally do, I'm gonna do vlogs, and it's gonna look weird. In fact, I recorded some of them, and there's a video that I have up and ready. I recorded several videos all in one day that I'll be showing in the next couple of weeks. I'm reticent to show myself, but it's sort of like, ugh, everybody knows what I look like now, just get it over with. And so it's awkward, and you know, I hate staring at the camera. I am so much a behind the scenes person than anything else. I just don't like being up front. But I don't want the last image of being, oh my god, Sasuke sucks, because it doesn't. And the last 10 years of my life was not a waste. So I want to grasp those moments that really made me happy and made me a huge fan of the show. And I will always be that. And if it took basically this tournament to tell me, yeah, it's time to go, then that's it. You know, I will be watching as a fan, hoping it turned around, but I'm not going to be the loudest cheerleader anymore, and I'm not going to be the loudest ranter either. I'm just not going to do that. So, like I said, I'm not going anywhere, but how I present things are going to be different. I'm also not going to be posting a lot on online, specifically on like forums and stuff. I'm not gonna get into those fights anymore. I'm also not going to be the information person, so if you want any information, especially from this point on, you are talking to the wrong person. I am not involving myself in that. So you have a question for Inui? Ask him yourself. Seriously. He has a Twitter account. Go have at it. And so I'm not running interference to try to find stuff from TBS. I'm basically going to be paying homage to the show that I love. And, concentrating on the reasons why I liked it. I'm very much a people person where I love hearing the stories of everybody getting in the car and taking the overnight ferry, driving 24-25 hours to a show, fail on an obstacle, get cut from the show, and have to drive back home. That's Nagano stories. Like those kind of things I want to concentrate on. I made a lot of friends. A lot of lifelong friends. That's extremely important to me, that even though a show that now is becoming divisive, there was a point where it brought a lot of people together, and that's what I want to focus on. So yeah, that's what I'm going to attempt to do. So again, in the next few weeks I'll be putting out some videos. I hope you enjoy them. I'll do the best that I can to at least make them watchable. So I'll be trying to develop my YouTube a little bit more. I'll be using my footage, so if y'all are expecting, Sasuke footage, I have no interest in getting my channel ripped down. I mean, heck, my channel is actually older than my blog. I think by a year. It's like 9 years old, and I have no interest in losing that site. So I don't have a lot on there, but we'll see. So in the meantime, let me try to deal with some of these questions. So let's see. Sorry if I don't get to all of them. I love the support. Thank you so much. I read every single word, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen. I mean, I saw the analytics. Y'all actually sat and listened to me rant for almost 20 minutes. Actually, over 20 minutes. Good lord. Okay, from the Sasuke 31 blog. Oh, the tournament blog. Okay. Marcel Hubert? Hubert. That's French. I should be able to pronounce French. Oh my god. My apologies if I've totally butchered your name. Awesome stuff. P.S. I love Downer Kebab. Yes, they were actually really good. It was funny because I didn't eat that last year, but I ate it this year. So I was really glad that they came back. So, yay! They're spicy. Oh my god, I don't eat a lot of spicy food. Also from 31. Is this the theme from Sasuke 17? Yes! Yes, it is. I think that is from 17. Thank you, Nagano fan. Yes, I love that theme. And yes, I have a copyright strike on that, but they're allowing it to stay on there without monetization. Yeah, I don't care. I needed to have that theme. Okay, next one from Karen Millonado. That's how I'll pronounce it in Spanish. Which haruka is this? This one is in Asakusa, on the east side. I always screw up Asakusa with Akasaka, and they're in completely opposite sides of Tokyo. This is the one near the Skytree. Okay, and then the rest of these are from a couple weeks ago now. The big ranting vlog. Kevin Strickland, thank you for making this video, Arsenet. It was very enlightening. I didn't watch it live, wanted to, but if I started watching it at 2:30 a.m. just to watch AW commercials, I would have been ticked. Trust me, I was too. I feel you've lifted the veil for me. Oh, I hope I'm not the one that makes you hate the show. I look forward to your vlogs and appreciate your passion for Sasuke. Thank you. Thank you very much, because I still love this show. I'm still very passionate about Sasuke, so it's just a decision I'm making to try to just step back so I can preserve why I love this show. It's opposed to me ranting every single time. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, and it's Marcel again. Thanks for this video. Love to see the backstage stuff. But yeah, totally true on that rant. I grew to be a huge fan, But if this would be the first episode I ever saw, I would only be impressed by the competitors like Nagano and Drew, etc. Interesting perspective. Battlelight. Oh god, I've known Battlelight for I don't even know how many years. long time person I've known from, god, the G4 boards. Yeah, that's going back almost a decade. Personally, I like the decision to put the ceremony at the end. To me, it didn't feel like a footnote, but ending on the best possible note, Nagano. Especially after the bittersweet ending with Tawaguchi, saving the best for last, yeah? At least that's how I see it. Of course, I would have loved to see the full ceremony. Remember, this was posted before the ceremony was put online by TBS. Anyway, but I don't think the positioning itself was a major problem. From Inui's perspective, doesn't it make sense to try to reach a new audience? As the fans of the show, we love the All-Stars, but you said it yourself, people in Japan don't know who Nagano is anymore, much less Shingo and Dakara. If it's a problem of we can only send X amount of people on the All-Stars, it makes sense to give it out to Nagano, and we've seen the All-Stars fast forward in the past, so there's like no precedent. I don't know which runs were missing that you're referring to, because I didn't see them, so I can't comment on that. But what I have a problem with, poor Yuji, did they even comment on the fact that he was a champion? Much less a two-time champion? His run started and ended before he can blink. Funny story on the blinking part. I think I mentioned this somewhere. I don't even know. Either way. When I was watching Nagano's run on the TBS broadcast, before that, in fact, I saw Takeda getting the, basically the ritual caning, as I like calling it, from Nagano. I looked down, I think I took a screenshot and was editing the screenshot to put that up on my Twitter. By the time I did that, I went back to the screen, we were already at Nagano. That is entirely too short for the retirement of Nagano to just literally bypass the All-Stars. If there was any point to have at least some sort of hoopla, it would have been to especially since they didn't do bad, especially since they put so much time the previous tournament to show how badly they did. Come on, this was at least a better opportunity to show that they got past the first freaking obstacle. So seriously, I was not happy about that. It was just like, wait, what? There were a lot of decisions that were made that I just did not agree with. As for trying to reach a new audience, which is the reason why I wanted the ceremony for Nagano immediately afterwards, to put it cohesive, because when you put that at the end, you're basically telling the people in the third stage, your third stage was kind of irrelevant, everybody was here to see Nagano. Because that's how I saw it. It's sort of like the people that wanted to see that either already turned off the TV when they went straight to the second stage, or they forgot about it because they were riveted by what Drew was doing and you know, the rain coming down and seeing Anastas and Tomo dropping. It's like, wait, what? Oh, that's right, Nagano was here. It's sort of, it's so felt very tacked on to me. I know you don't agree with that, but that's fine. I thought that it was, especially now that people have seen it, people have actually reversed some of their views. Some of them still solidify it. They're going, it's like, yeah, I think it was better the way it was. I just did not agree with it. Additionally, I think there is more going to be a disconnect with you and some other viewers. As you watch the tournament live and seeing all the runs, I think naturally leads you to focusing on the editing much more than typical viewer, because you've seen it all. You're just trying to see how they turn into a 3-hour show. Someone like me who doesn't know the results is focusing more on the composition itself and not the editing. Definitely know the feeling of frustration though. I know you don't like to compare Sasuke to A&W, but I've been to 3 A&W tapings and I've seen some truly phenomenal runs get cut in favor of entirely forgettable runs for reasons unknown. I've seen me and my friends get cut from the broadcast, and it had nothing to do with the results or how exciting our runs were, or even that ham-fisted story we had to tell. Yeah, the comparison's not entirely good, simply because A, I was there 2 years in a row, and I didn't have the same problem last year. And sure, I had a couple people who was like, yeah, I wish they showed this or showed that, and first of all, I didn't see the first 50 people, like at all, like nothing. Like I was sitting in the parking lot with the All-Stars for the first 50. I didn't see any of it. last year I got to see more of it, and so like, I can understand why they're doing certain edits and whatever, and I still complain about some things like, why did you not even show clears? Yeah, they cut runs last year, like clears. There's a difference with you're cutting people that, they're filled anyway. That's an entirely different conversation. This one, it was sort of like, okay, we're gonna push these two people to the detriment of everybody else, and there's a reason why we're doing this, and you're gonna have to like it. This is a vastly different experience, and whether I was there or not, the only benefit for me being there is that I saw the ones that they cut. So it's like, you really did that for that reason? And I think that's the bigger issue of why they did it. Why I was more upset this year than last year. Last year, as a tournament whole, you got to see what was actually recorded. This one, to me, it looked as if it was edited before the tournament even started. Tritium 8, thanks for the rant. I just stumbled into Sasuke because Grace Mineta, Texan in Tokyo, competed. Yay! I agree with you on the editing failures. Yeah, I was really upset they didn't show her. That was... I'll go into a long story, probably on the podcast, on her run. It was phenomenal. It was great. And Mark V. Ren L. Grace Mineta's beautiful. Yes, she is. I think she's gorgeous. So it was. I wish people saw it, and it just sucks. Hopefully Grace will find a way to express how well she did. She did phenomenal. I just think she did phenomenal, and just the entire experience I just wish people got to see it, because that was an awesome run and just an awesome experience, and I just wish they showed it. So, okay, Josh Berman, a couple different ones. I honestly agree with you completely. I think that the reason A&W had all the ads is because once the show sadly ends, A&W will most likely still be on the air, so that's why. However, everything else you said is 100% true. This rant is so true, and also so sad. It literally brought me to tears. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry. You're right. A&W will still be around, and I've said it before. I see this in another 10 years. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. It's way too much into the lexicon now, and more people wanting to get on there. There's zero reason for them to take it off the air. I just wish it didn't have anything to do with what happens with the Japanese show for the Japanese audience. So I just didn't appreciate with how that was intermixed. It's just, they're separate shows. Just keep it separate. Thank you, Painmaster. I don't know what y'all are expecting any more rants from me. So, we'll see. Okay, Sakashi's broadcasting channel. I think I got that right. Sakashi. Yeah. It's not the production's fault. It's TDS for getting rid of so much of their budget. If they had their budget back, then the show would be returned to normal. I'm not sure if I agree with that. The editing is a stylistic choice. It is specific and has nothing to do with how much money you have. Trying to figure out a word. I guess like the messaging. That's all controlled by how you edit something. Like I mentioned before, that tournament that I saw was not the same one that ended up on TV. And that has nothing to do with the physical amount of money. That is just, again, a stylistic choice. They have a message. You know, Sasuke All-Star era is gone. We're going into the new era, and we're trying to basically fit both shows, A&W and Sasuke, on the same playing field. And in order for that to happen, one of them has to change. A&W is not changing, and apparently Sasuke is. And I don't agree with that. Jay Palmieri, GD, the truth behind this really hurts. I completely agree. In the past, the reason I watched it was because it wasn't competitors against each other, it was against the course. Yeah. And last one, KW. Well, this means 1, I'm gonna hope to reconstruct what was missing between random videos on YouTube and what Arsenet puts up. 2, I'm gonna appreciate what has been and perhaps download everything I can when I get the time, in case the videos disappear, which is actually a really good idea because that happens all the time. Just the highlights above are making me think of what was as much as what happened now. Sorry, yeah, that's just the behind the scenes stuff. 3, I do not have any idea what ability, if any people like Drew or the Americans there, anyone participating has to influence the problems with the editing. No, they don't have any. They don't have it. But if they listen up to now, I'm sure they'll listen in the future. No, I don't think so. That's a decision that's not made by any competitor at all. That's all, that's all production team, editing, you know, that, again, that's separate. And no competitor has that kind of control. Not even the All-Stars. 4, I realized over the years there has been controversy over how American Ninja Warrior broadcasts have been edited too. Yes. But I hope Man vs. Man and A&W is not that bad. At least I did not pay it much attention. I thought it was more man-woman versus course perhaps than it is or was. I'm sure Jeff Britton will have a very different view of that. 5, just mentioning Kunoichi also brings back memories to what was. Yes, and you're welcome. Oh god, Kunoichi. I would have loved for that show to come back. So, we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen from this point on. I don't ever expect that to come back. And who would you put on there? When you think about that, who would you put on there? So, yeah, it's been interesting. So anyway, this video's gone long, very long, a lot more than I thought. But yeah, look forward to the other videos. Some of them would look a little weird. Again, I'm not very comfortable being in front of the camera, but I'm just gonna basically suck it up and just deal with it. So, but either way, that's the direction I'm gonna be going. I'm gonna try to do it sort of like an order of all the information going through before getting to Japan, going to the Japan, and coming back. And future stuff. I'm still working on stuff, and I still have 2 projects that I've been working on, and hopefully at least one of them comes to fruition. And that's not the writing stuff. That's something that I'm going to keep doing anyway. But I'll concentrate on doing that more so now than being on the boards, or even on my blog. Blog's not gonna die, and it's not going anywhere, and I'm not deleting it. At worst, I'll revert back to Blogspot than to get rid of the blog, so don't worry about that. But that's not going anywhere for a while, so I'm not worried about it. So, but yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know, and y'all know where to find me. So until the next video, take care.